Substance which possesses its mass per unit volume on the whole is termed as density. At rest, the fluid is exerting certain pressure. If that pressure is said to be P, then the pressure is equal to thrust which is acting upon per unit area. In Earth, the gravitational effect is always constant. It is said to be 9.8 meter per second square. Hello everyone, I am Vrinda, Faculty of Physics from Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysuru, welcoming you all to Chapter 10, Session 1, and chapter name is Mechanical Properties of Fluids. In our last session, we had studied regarding the mechanical properties of solids. Here, our point of interest will be fluids. So, solids, fluids and gases, that is fluids is also equal to a liquid. So, solid, liquid and gases are called as fundamental states of matter. So, this is a solid, this is a gas and fluid or a liquid. So, these three are under fundamental states of matter. Fundamental states of matter. So here our point of interest is mainly on the fluids. As you can see in fluids, the compact arrangement of the molecules or atom is not there. Wherein in solids, the atoms or molecules are closely packed by the intermolecular forces. So here there is presence of intermolecular forces, that is these are the presence which connects two molecules, two or three molecules. So there are presence of intermolecular forces, but those forces which are acting on the liquid is less when compared to that of the force which is present in solids. So here the molecules or the atoms are not tightly held, because of which the fluids are free flowing. It is free flowing. It does not have a definite shape or a definite size. Okay, but the water, for example, in a liquid state, usually we consider a water. So a liquid gains the shape of a container. It is not having any sort of definite shape, but it acquires the shape of the container wherever it is present. So if it is in bottle, it acquires the shape of a bottle. If it is poured into glass, it acquires the shape of a glass. That is all about your fluids. So here there is no bending of the structure and all as we studied in solids, because solid was the one which was compact, whose molecules as well as atoms were closely packed. Therefore, a bending or a stress had to be applied onto the object so that it undergoes a deformed state. So here in this case, in case of the fluid, there is nothing that you have to apply certain stress on it, because it is free flowing and the molecules as well as atoms which is present in the fluid is loosely packed. It is not tightly packed and it gains the shape of a container. So now let us move to the hydrostatics. Hydro means we here study regarding the liquid or the fluid state. So here hydrostatics. Statics means the one which is at rest, that is stationary position. It's not moving, it is at rest. So hydrostatics. So here we have hydrostatics. So define hydrostatic means it deals with the study of property of a fluid at rest or in equilibrium. So if the water is at rest or stationary or equilibrium, that property of a fluid is known as hydrostatic. So these are four types of containers wherein the liquid or a fluid, that is water, has acquired the shape of a container in all four diagrams. There is a presence of a meter which is present in order to measure the pressure of the water, which is fixed below, whereas all four diagrams are having same pressure which is of the same height. So at same height there is a presence of same pressure for each and every experimental setup over here. Okay, so the water is said to be at the state of rest. It is not in motion, it is at the state of rest. That is why we call it as hydrostatic. something we study regarding liquids, then it is called as hydro, and static is nothing but the object when is at rest, it is said to be static. So it is hydrostatic. Water, when it is at stationary, we study its properties. Such kind of a property is said to be hydrostatic. So at hydrostatic, the water which is at the same height in all four containers will have same pressure. So next we are going to the density. So whenever you consider a fluid has got enormous way of examples, that is either water, juice, that is an extract of some object in the sense it can be vegetables or fruits, and then even it can be oil, extract of some seeds, okay, oil. So each and every liquids are having different densities, okay. Density means it depends on the thickness of it. So what is that density? Density is nothing but a substance which gives its mass per unit volume. So a substance which possesses its mass per unit volume on the whole is termed as density, and it is given by the symbol called as rho. This is the symbol in order to represent the density, which is pronounced as rho, R-H-O. So what is this density? Density is equal to, it is mass per unit volume. Mass per unit volume. So how is its SI unit given? So SI unit can be, mass is measured in kg and volume is measured in length into breadth into height, wherein you can consider the whole as length itself. So you have m into m, which can be said as m cube. So it is kg, you have got kg bar. Length is measured in meters, so meter cube, which can be given as kg meter minus 3. So this will be the SI unit for the density. Here the density varies from one fluid to the other fluid, wherein the density of water, for example, you have got density of water, that is H2O, is 1000 kg per meter cube, wherein the density of mercury, that is the fluid which is having highest density, is nothing but mercury. So density of mercury is highest, and it is given as 13.6 into 10 raised to 3 kg per meter cube. It is 13.6 into 10 raised to 3 kg per meter cube. So that is the density of mercury, and the density of the mercury is said to be very high when you compare to that of a density of water, and density of water is a standard one, that is 1000 kg per meter cube. That is all about the density. That is the measure of its thickness, okay, mass which is exerted per unit volume. From each volume, how much amount of mass is exerted, that is said to be your density, termed by this rho. Symbol is rho. Okay. So now let us move to the pressure. So what is meant by a pressure? Pressure is nothing but the force which is exerted on fluids. So you're exerting certain force on fluid. So what happens to that fluid? That fluid changes. Either it flows or it changes. It exerts pressure on the containers when you apply force on it. So now here it is said to be a normal force, or it is also known as the thrust which is applied on a fluid. So normal force is the force which is perpendicular to the surface. So this is the force and this is said to be the surface. A force which is acting normal to the surface is said to be a normal force. So it is a normal force or a fluid thrust exerted per unit area. So force per unit area is known as pressure. So you can see in this diagram, that is, if this is an object, the force is exerted normal to it. If this is the axis, the force is normal at 90 degrees, which is acting on an object. So force which is acting per unit area only to this area is said to be the pressure. Pressure, that is force per unit area, is said to be a pressure. So I hope you're clear with definition of force, that is the pressure which is exerted on an object, as well as the density which we had studied earlier. Now let us check the liquid which is having certain density has got the pressure. So let us check the pressure at certain depth of the liquid, that is like pressure at the depth in a liquid under gravity. So each and every objects in the universe possess the gravitational force. Okay, so here there is a presence of gravity for a liquid at certain depth. So we have to check the pressure at that depth. So for that you will have to consider a container. So here consider an imaginary cylinder on the liquid. So here you have got a container who has the presence of a liquid. So there is a presence of a liquid which is at stationary. So here it is a static liquid or a static fluid, whatever you are considering in this container. And within the liquid there is another cylindrical shape, and this is nothing but a imaginary cylinder. It is just in a imagination. Okay, just imagine that you have kept a cylinder from the surface of the water to certain depth of height h. H is said to be the height. So let rho, it is given by this. So let rho be the density of the liquid which is at rest in a vessel. So this is said to be a container, and O be the point in the liquid at depth h. So I will consider my O in this position, that is, it is said to be O, at the center of the imaginary cylinder which is having an area A. So this area is considered to be A. A is nothing but the area. So O be the point in the liquid at the depth h. At the depth h, I am representing my O in the center of the imaginary cylinder. Now, the pressure at O can be calculated as, how will you calculate the pressure which is exerted at that point O? And this imaginary cylinder is just imaginary. You're just imagining the cylinder, that you have kept a cylinder, and the center of that cylinder is represented O as O at the depth h. And now you have to calculate the pressure on this point, that is the pressure on this point, okay, which is exerted from all other neighboring particles. So consider a circular area A. You have already considered this circular area as A around the point O. The mass of imaginary cylinder is given by, what is that mass? You know that density is equal to mass by volume. So what happens to mass? It becomes D into V, that is density into volume. So mass is equal to density into the volume. So what is that density? Density is nothing but given by a symbol called as rho. This is the symbolic representation of mass. So I'll write mass as rho into volume is length into breadth into height. So you're considering its length, breadth and height of the imaginary cylinder. So when you consider length, breadth and height, what do you have? It is L into B into H. So length and breadth corresponds to the area. So M is equal to rho, and this is area into H. Rho AH is the mass of a imaginary cylinder which you are considering. So here you have got the equation which is said to be 1. Now we are considering the weight of the liquid which is present in the cylinder. That is nothing but weight is equal to the mass. Okay, weight is nothing but, it acts according to the gravitational effect. Okay, And in Earth, the gravitational effect is always constant. It is said to be 9.8 meter per second square. That is acceleration due to gravity. But mass doesn't change. Mass doesn't depend upon the gravitational effect. Here, weight depends upon the gravitational effect. So, weight is nothing but mass of the body into gravity. So, what do we have? Mass of the body is rho Ah into G, which is said to be the weight, and this is termed as equation 2. So this equation 2, that is the weight of the liquid in the cylinder, the weight of the liquid in the cylinder is equal to the thrust which is exerted to the point, that is point O, because the liquid is stationary. So weight of the liquid is equal to the thrust which is applied on it because of its stationary, that is the static position of the fluid. So it is given as the weight of the liquid and cylinder will be equal to the thrust which is exerted at point O. If this was an area at point O, the thrust was equal to the weight of the liquid which is present in the cylinder. So here we have got, if P is a hydrostatic pressure at O, if there is certain pressure which is said to be hydrostatic, hydro means the pressure which is exerted by a fluid, and static means at rest. At rest, the fluid is exerting certain pressure. If that pressure is said to be P, then the pressure is equal to thrust which is acting upon per unit area. So what is that thrust which is given? Force per unit area, and that thrust is exerted due to the weight. So what is the value of weight? It is nothing but rho AHG. So I'll write my thrust as pressure P is equal to A rho Hg divided by area. So area cancels with area, and I have P is equal to rho H as well as G. So pressure is acting proportional to the density, height as well as gravity. So what is the relationship between pressure, density, height and gravity? That is nothing but it has got a directly proportional relation. It is proportional to each other. As one increases, the other one also increases. It is not an inverse relationship. It is a direct relationship for the pressure as well as density, height as well as gravity. That is what it is given in pressure at the depth in a liquid under gravity. And the one what you have to know is the pressure, if suppose you are considering many other objects and it is filled with the hydrostatic liquids, the pressure at the same height will be same for each and every fluids, because the pressure doesn't vary for the same height. Okay, so if we have got a pressure, it is P is equal to rho Hg, and suppose if there is a pressure called as atmospheric pressure. So what is that atmospheric pressure? It is a thrust which is exerted per unit volume. Suppose if there is a other thrust which is exerted by atmosphere, then we have got a atmospheric pressure which is represented as PA. PA is said to be a atmospheric pressure. So absolute pressure P is nothing but rho Hg. So when atmospheric pressure is also included in that, it becomes P is equal to PA plus rho Hg. It is a combination of the atmospheric pressure and the absolute pressure. But when you take your absolute pressure to the other side, you have P minus PA is equal to rho Hg. Here this is said to be the gauge pressure. So this excess of pressure at the depth of the fluid which is present in a container is said to be a gauge pressure. So I hope you are clear with the atmospheric pressure as well as the gauge pressure. Now let us move to the atmospheric pressure in detail. So what is that atmospheric pressure? As you all know, Earth consists of too many atmospheric layers. This is known as atmospheric layers. And this atmospheric layers contains air, okay, and it is the combination of nitrogen, oxygen, traces of carbon, inert gases as well as certain vapors. So here in each and every atmospheric layers there is certain components or the elements which is present over there. So here these atmospheric layers and the particles which is present in the atmosphere are responsible for certain pressure to the earth. Okay, it exerts certain pressure into the earth. So here the thrust exerted by the atmosphere per unit area of the earth is said to be the atmospheric pressure, and each and every particles on this earth experiences an atmospheric pressure. So what are the things that is maximum? The atmospheric pressure will be maximum at the surface of the earth, and at higher altitudes, as the height increases, its pressure decreases. So the atmospheric pressure acts always inversely proportional to the height. That is what it says, that is, it decreases with increases in height. Which one? That is the atmospheric pressure. Okay, next is the instrument which is used to measure the atmospheric pressure is said to be a barometer. So what is the meter instrument which is called as barometer? As you can see in the image, this is the instrument which is used to measure the atmospheric pressure. Okay, next let us go to the Pascal's law. So what does this Pascal law says? That is, suppose you consider an object over here which is open at A, B, C as well as D. All the sides it is open, all four sides you can see the column is open, so which is filled with the liquid. This instrument is filled with the liquid. So whenever you exert certain force at point A, what happens to the liquid? The liquid pushes all the other sides out. So this is a piston which is present over here. So you just push a piston at point A. What happens to the pistons at B, C and D? It is pushed outside. So it is rushed. Suppose if you exert force at every side, what happens? The liquid gets compressed. You're giving an compressive effect to a liquid. Okay, the same thing is applied over here. That is all about the Pascal's law. When you exert certain force on a piston which is present over here, what happens to the liquid which is present at point B? There is increase in its length over here. Here there will be change in length wherein it decreases. Here it is increase in the length of the liquid. So when you push here, here it comes out. Okay, so that is all about your Pascal's law. So it states that the external pressure applied to any part. So here you are exerting an external pressure to any part of an enclosed mass of the fluid. The fluid, if you leave like that, it is left free, it keeps flowing. So it is enclosed in a mass. So here the pressure is applied to a fluid which is enclosed in a mass. So enclosed mass of a fluid which is at rest. Okay, it is transmitted undiminished to every portion of the liquid or a fluid and walls of a container. That means whenever you exert certain pressure on a liquid which is enclosed in a container, and the force whatever is applied, it is applied to every portion of the particles which is present in a fluid. As a result, there is increase, that is the change in length here as well as here, and the pressure is exerted to the walls of the containers as well. That is all about your Pascal's law. And why this Pascal law is used? So this Pascal law has got certain applications as you see here, that is hydraulic lift as well as hydraulic brake. So here in case of hydraulic brake, you can see a shoe over here which is present exerting brake. So it is exerted over here and a piston is made to move. As a result, there is a brake which is applied to the wheel. In that case, Pascal law is used, and the other application of Pascal law is lifting up of any heavy mass. Okay, so here you can see a car which is being lifted by exerting certain pressure, that is certain force. By exerting certain force on the liquid, there is a increase in the volume of a liquid, because of which the mass of an object, that is the heavier masses, are lifted. So that is all about the applications of the Pascal's law. Today in this session, we have studied regarding the fluids, how the fluids acts and what is its density, its pressure, as well as what is its atmospheric pressure, and at certain depth what is its pressure, and how the atmospheric pressure acts at maximum heights and at lower heights and at the surface of the earth. And then we have studied regarding the Pascal's law. Pascal's law is nothing but exerting pressure on a liquid which is enclosed, and that pressure is being distributed for each and every portion of the liquid as well as walls of a container. As a result, there is a change in length in the opposite section, because of which here we have got the applications, and those applications are the hydraulic lift as well as the hydraulic brakes. So let us all meet in our next class with the same chapter and the next session of the same chapter, that is second half of it. Until then, have a good day. Thank you.